Isha, did you really eat all that food on your plate? That was a lot of food on the plate. Well, you know what? We have a real treat for you now. We actually met a doctor who is studying reincarnation and has facts to prove it. I mean, you never know. We may have all been sisters in our past life. Well, let's go on this journey into your past. I'm here with Dr. Walter Semkiw, author of Born Again and The Origin of the Soul and the Purpose of Reincarnation. Hi, Doctor. Welcome to Andaaz.
Thank you.
You have actual data to prove that it exists, not that, our parents are telling us there's reincarnation based on our religion. So tell us a little bit about your research.
Yeah, what's really exciting is there's evidence coming from multiple sources that are showing the same pattern, that people look the same from lifetime to lifetime, have same personality traits, bring the same talents, and even come back with the same people from lifetime to lifetime.
The Stevenson case kind of built the foundation for your research, right?
And let me just tell you about two cases that are just amazing. They involve a woman named Suzanne Ghanem and a man named Daniel Jurdy. And Stevenson first studied these two individuals back in the late 60s and early 70s when these people were small children. And in the typical Stevenson case, the child remembers their name from the past lifetime, the names of the parents, where they live. The child gives enough information that the biologic family can actually locate the past life family.
Okay, so the child is born, and so at what age do they start remembering their past?
As soon as they can speak, they start talking about a past lifetime. Suzanne and Daniel are full-grown adults, and Stevenson realized they looked exactly like they did in the prior incarnations. And maybe as an example, I could bring up the Anne Frank, Barbara Carlin case,
yes,
which is a case that I think will change the world. Most people will know that Anne Frank was a victim of the Holocaust. She wrote a diary, the Diary of Anne Frank, that became one of the best-selling books in history. Well, Barbara Carlin was born in 1957, so 9 years after Anne Frank died in a concentration camp. As soon as she could speak, she told her parents that her name was not Barbara, but Anna Frank. And her parents had no idea who Anne Frank or Anna Frank was, because the diary of Anne Frank had not yet been translated or published in Sweden. She was born into a Christian family in Sweden. She told her parents, "You're not my parents, and this is not my house, and my real parents are going to come get me soon and take me home." And this is typical also of what happens in Stevenson cases.
When I was 10 years old, my parents decided to take me and themselves for a trip around Europe. We stayed in a hotel, and my parents wanted to see, of course, everything that was worth seeing in Amsterdam, and Anna Frank's house was one of it. And we were at the hotel room, and my father said that let's do the Anna Frank house first. So I called for a cab. And I found myself saying to them, "We don't need a cab, we're not far away." And I knew exactly where we were. And he said, How can you say that? You've never been here before. I said, "Well, I don't know, but let me show you the way. I know it's not far." So they said, okay. So they walked with me, and I took them there, and we walked for maybe 10 minutes, and it was a little bit crisscrossing the streets. And when we came, I said, "It's around the next corner, and we will be there." And we were, and of course, both my parents, they were like, "What is happening here?" But they didn't say much.
Okay, so you did some fun stuff in your book here, like Amitabh Bachchan and Jaya Bachchan and Rekha, and you went back into their past lives and found that they all knew each other. So tell us about that.
Amitabh Bachchan was Edwin Booth, who was the brother of John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln. But Edwin Booth, though, was the most successful actor in Victorian times. He was the richest and the most famous actor of the day. And it turns out that his whole family reincarnated also with Amitabh Bachchan. So Edwin Booth had two wives. He had his first wife died, and then he remarried. Well, the first wife in contemporary times is Rekha, and then the second wife is Jaya. And he had the same father in both lifetimes. Some of the children are back.
I really want your research to spread, and I know you're currently seeking funding for translations. Tell us a little bit about your work and what you're doing.
So one of the things is, you know, all this research is very new. All the cases that I'm describing with the pictures, they all came out since 1997 or so. You know, just a little over 10 years, 15 years now. Very new, very few people know about it. So we created the ISIS website so that there's universal access. And the website has been programmed for translation in 40 languages. And so what we're doing is we're seeking funding to have these cases translated.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor. I mean, it's just been so eye-opening and amazing talking with you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you.
To our viewers out there, visit the ISIS website if you'd like to get involved in this fabulous movement. I encourage you to do so. And Born Again is an amazing book, and stay with us for more on your incredible journey.
Souls were created in pairs, but it's not what you think of, that it's the person that's your, you know, romantic, you know, ideal partner.
Well, all I have to say is, wow.
Incredible.
I mean, I really like his message about how we should all look at ourselves as a universal soul, that we're all connected.
I love that. And not only that, but it's really interesting to see those facial features and how similar they are from today and our past lives. It's incredible.
That whole interview just took my breath away. Like,
I know. Well, we're going to find out who we were in our past lives.
I know. Can't wait for that.
We'll announce it here on Andaaz, absolutely. And you know, this week we have 2 tips for you. We're going to talk to Herman, who's going to tell us about buying properties in India, and Zane's going to give us some friendly travel tips. Let's go check it out.
Here is another tip of the week from Zane at G1G. Listen to what he has to say about travel.
Imagine this. You as a father prepare the wedding, book the hall, do everything, and it rains on the day of the event. You lose $30,000, $40,000 or whatever you paid for the wedding. Did you know there's insurance to cover that? Or your golf tournament, or your concert? Look into it. It's very inexpensive and can cover that catastrophic loss or the cancellation of the event, or even if the hall just needs event insurance. Tip of the day.
Your India property advisor, Herman Singh, gives you his real estate investing tip of the week.
Thank you, Sarika. We spoke about time sharing. Let's talk in detail. You know, there's a time sharing started in India. It's that you can buy an apartment and use it as many times you want to use it, and the remaining time you can just rent it out. They will rent it out on your behalf, and you collect additional income coming while you have a property sitting there. Let's see our feature property of the week. It's a high-rise apartment building and a farmhouse in Gurgaon. I'm Herman Singh. I'll see you next season.
Well, I'm glad you all enjoyed the season with us. And you know what? Before we take off and see you next time in season 4, I have one more thing to share with you. In Kerala, which is one of my favorite destinations in India, we discovered this fabulous property, and you are going to be amazed. For all of you investors out there that are looking to invest in India, this is the property for you. Or if you just want a home away from home, or some place to just kind of hang out when you go to Kerala, you have to check this out. Let's take a look.
Kerala is one of the most beautiful destinations in India, often described as God's own country, and the Andaaz hosts have selected the perfect property for your Kerala second home, or an amazing investment. We unveil at Kerala, Calicut's first 26-story condominium project, Riviera Grand, a project designed by celebrity architect Dr. N.M. Salim and developed by Superstone Properties, member of Superstone Group Hong Kong. This is truly the pinnacle of luxury living. Superstone develops world-class properties in India, Brazil, and China. Riviera Grand houses only 53 luxurious condominiums, surrounded by lush greenery, while still being able to access around Calicut's superb dining, shopping, and fabulous entertainment and culture activities. What a dream. Superstone will showcase Riviera Grand at major U.S. centers in June and AAPI Convention, Long Beach, California. Visit www.superstoneproperties.com for the entire video and more details. Enjoy our fabulous find of the week.